So Boxels are kind of like the hidden like structure behind how the Milky Way is generated. So obviously, as you can tell from the name, the galaxy is divided up into cubes. So if I can just make a little cube here, think of this as the basic building block for like how systems are generated. And so you'll have, can I copy? I can't copy. Have this, and they'll be like right next to each other. They'll be on top of each other. And it depends on where in the galaxy you are and how many voxels will be present. So all the systems in the game are contained within a voxel. How the game labels these voxels is you have one big cube, which you guys might be familiar with, is called the sector. Sector is 120, wait, it's 1280 light years by 1280 light years, so it's going to be 1280 this way and 1280 this way. Now, these are divided in what's called an octree. So an octree is you'll have one big cube, and then you'll have 8 smaller subcubes or subboxels, as you can say. So I think it goes. I forget exactly what's off the top of my head, but there's 8 within here. Let's just imagine there's going to be 8 of these. I can't draw them. Actually, yeah, I can. One. There's not going to be. Okay, and inside one of these, you're going to have 8 more. This obviously isn't well drawn, but you get the picture. And it goes all the way from there and blah 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 until they go down to 10 light years. Length, width, height. 10, yeah, you get the picture. So, how to identify where you are? So let's say, actually, I'm just going to draw this out. Let's do um, my favorite system name, Kylo Astley. All right. Kylo Astley is around, I think, Colonia. So this is the sector name, which is going to be the parent 100, and I think it's, was it 1280? I think it's 1280. All right, so this is going to be the main area that you're going to be in. And the one over here, YE-A, denotes where in space you are within this main cube. So to be in the entire cube, you'll be going to be in the AA-A area. That's the only voxel that will contain the H mass voxel. And we'll go through that after this. So this will be, I think, bottom right, because it's BA-A, CL-Y, C8. It's different for different ones. I can't remember off the top of my head. I should have written this down, but I'm just going off of memory. So stay with me. So this is where you will be at within this voxel. I mean, this is parent cube right here. This is your mass code right here. So the mass code is, it denotes the mass within a certain system. So it goes from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H, right? You got 8 different masses. This is the lowest. So this is where you'll find your brown dwarfs, LTY stars, maybe really low mass T Tauri. These will only be in like the 10 light year voxels. So you'll see like blah blah blah, a like 29. There can be a lot of A voxels within its parent cube. Next, you have B, which will be higher mass L types, as well as M types and lower mass K types. C, you get into like G mass around there, and you go from like F mass here, then just we can get the B stars here, as well as neutron stars. Neutron stars aren't D actually, but yeah, as all you need to know, they go up, increasing mass that way. And there's only one H, as I said, per sector, which would be AA-A. There will be 8 G mass voxels within a given sector, and as it'll be double that. Actually,
It'll be 8 times that.
Yeah, I mean 8 times that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
the
So
numbers get big
64.
really fast.
Yes. Thank you for correcting me. And then 8 times that. 8 times that. And it just, yeah, it goes up logarithmic, I guess. So you can have a lot of especially if you're like in the core, you can have like 10,000 freaking sectors in a single voxel, which is insane. What?
I'm trying to remember the size of an A mass voxel, and I think it's just
10 light
one.
years per 10
It's
light years.
10 light years cubed.
I'm
Okay,
pretty
yeah,
sure,
thanks.
Yeah.
Hey,
What's up,
by
DKO?
the way, I linked the spreadsheet for mass codes in the chat.
Ooh,
So
thank you for that.
if you wanna look through that or go over it, that has a rundown of all the different combinations of every mass code. So you're not gonna memorize past F, trust me, but it's good to like refer to, if you're out and there's minimal amount of systems, you can at least plug a couple of these prefixes in and see if anything pops up. Because it won't auto list it all the time. So
The map
True.
that is in the that's in that spreadsheet is really good too for visual people. You can see kind
yeah,
of the distribution of various mass codes throughout the galaxy.
I don't think it's completed yet though.
Oh no, I'm sure it's not.
I think I think plane 0 is complete, but all the other ones, yeah, if you don't see it colored in, that means that it probably wasn't done yet. So if you want to be a part of that and help out, I don't know whose sheet this is and who's doing it, but
I would bet it's orange, but if not, then he would at least know who's doing it.
yeah.
All right, we good to continue?
Yeah, you're good. I just wanted to
All right.
point that out.
So yeah, mass code. Visit the sheet in the chat if you're curious. After that is going to be the system identifier. So if you see G1 after this denotes the like how many voxels are in this subsector with this mass right here. So when you're out in, let's say, like like the galactic rim and you have like basically no stars out there, you're gonna see like DA-A and B2 and then nothing after. What B2 is, when you see just the letter and the number after and nothing else, like no dash, this basically means DA-A B, I mean B2, actually, yeah, B0-2. The 0 just doesn't show up when it's displayed this way. However, when you have like when you're like in the core and you have a lot more systems per cubic light year, you can have like B10-2. This is going to be the 11th voxel with this mass code in this subsector because counting starts at 0 and not 1. And same as for um like system counts. So this number right here is going to be the system in that voxel starting at 0. So 0 is going to be the first system, and then 270 is going to be the 271st system in that voxel. Now, why is this even important to all of you? Now, in generating the galaxy, voxels share a common similarity between them. And it's only important that you focus on a certain voxel. just because this is important, just because they're right next to each other. Let's see, like you have, for example, you have one voxel right here, and then you have a separate D mass voxel over here. These two would not share the same composition, the same metallicity, the same age range, right? Just because they're next to each other doesn't mean they share a relationship. That's just not how it was generated.
Also, with that
Hmm.
B10 thing, that doesn't mean there's gonna be a B2, B3, B4 up to B10. Um, that just means the location, I think, because like there's some of them you'll be in and you'll see a F2, but you don't see like F3, F4, or like you'll see F6, you don't see the previous ones. I don't know exactly why, but
Really?
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't really tested it, but I noticed that like when you're closer to the core, you'll see like like a D12, but I never see like D10, D11, D9, so on, you know?
Interesting.
I don't know.
I didn't know that. I didn't even. Okay.
That's news to me too. I thought Arcanic's logic was I thought that was the way that it was.
It's got to do something with location to the core. That's when they start changing. But I don't think it's necessary that they jump up consecutively. Like, so if there's an 8, that means that there's 7 more before it. I don't think that's necessarily true. Because there's some of
Uh-huh.
them I'm in it and like it's just F2 dash. There's no F dash. So not really important though. Just in case you come across it.
Yeah.
So asterisk, this logic may break down in the core regions.
I mean, it's not
Yeah.
really important. As long as you're getting the actual system name, that's all you really need for that box
Right.
or whatever that you're interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So within a voxel, um, let's just do what's the other one I have? Let's give the example ovumly T0 dash 0 D or X. Now this voxel right here will have entirely different properties than ovumly T0 dash 0 D3, for example. These are not the same. These are not exclusive at all. So this just happens to be a helium-rich voxel that I like to visit from time to time. And they'll have all of these systems, whether it be like 7 or 42, whatever, will have around similar age and metallicity. Now, for all you astronomy, non-astronomy nerds, metallicity just regards elements within a system that are not hydrogen or helium. Just so happens that the higher metallicity in a voxel, Elite Dangerous is going to generate systems that have more um, bodies in general, which means more rocky planets because there's more material to form as rocky planets, and as well as more gas giants in general. This also means that higher metallicity will mean a higher helium content, which means helium-rich voxels, which you would want to look for that have a lot of cool stuff in them, will have higher body counts in general. And I don't have the guide off the top of my head, or and I don't know. But on the Canon, I wrote an article in Canon about helium gas giants, and they had a little area regarding voxels. So, if so, one of you can post that in there just for reference, if it's not in already.
Yeah, I got you.
Thank you. Um,
It also means big rings. You see a lot of big rings in helium rich.
yeah, or you can see the dead giveaway. Besides like system counts and a lot of moons, are gas giants as moons of other gas giants. That's pretty not common in other like non-helium rich boxes. You'll see that time to time. They're usually like just class ones um, or gas giant water-based life, but you'll see like class fours or other helium rich gas giants orbiting other helium rich gas giants. Also, water giants as moons. Apparently, only in Helium-Rich systems can you get water giants as moons. I didn't know that, but apparently it's the only reason they exist. What else am I missing? H masses. H masses are they're kind of already ruined for people late in the game. So H masses are the highest mass system available and only dangerous. They'll have black holes. They'll have Wolf Rayet stars, Wolf Rayet stars, however you want to pronounce it. Apparently, it's
Rye.
Wolf Rayet. Yeah, that annoys me. You'll see WN, WO, WC, and WNC. Those are the 4 procedure generated types. Then you'll have what we got. You can have B type supergiants, O stars, and apparently you can have A type supergiants, as well as Herbig stars.
I'm getting that sheet too. The updated one.
Where's there's chat? I can open chat. Yeah, it's a good example right there. Perfect example. And that looks like just a regular non helium rich system, am I right? Do you know or no?
Who are you asking?
If that picture you posted with the gas giants in the system map, is that helium rich or no?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay.
I do not think it was, but yeah, I found it the other day, so I figured
Okay.
show what they look like. I'm gonna go grab that file on EDAstro that gets updated.
All right. Any other like box related things you think I'm missing, guys? I haven't talked about yet.
No, that was pretty complete. I guess just to mention that a lot of the things that that you just mentioned we can find in H masses can also be found in lower masses as well, as most of you have probably found. You know, you can get Herbigs in F and G systems. You can get black holes as small as D.
Yeah. Well, it's
And
only with Rye stars that are in H mass right here.
yes,
You
they are
can't find
only
it
H
anywhere else.
mass. You can find some pretty sweet ringed neutron stars in H mass systems as well.
I
Yeah,
completely
I don't.
forgot to even talk about that. Well,
I
it's
don't.
only for Boxels, but we can talk about
Yeah,
like rare stuff later, unless that's
Yeah, this is galactic
topic.
composition, not just voxels anyway, so I think that's a
Yeah.
valid subject.
Yeah.
One thing we should mention is like a lot of people, a lot of new explorers want like first discoveries on black holes. And um, that is not nearly so difficult as it seems if you're in the bubble or or traveling on common routes, because they do not they don't spawn evenly across the galaxy, because there are regions of the galaxy called stellar graveyards that are going to be full of certain types of stars that are aged or collapsed or things like that. That will include black holes. You'll see them more commonly in the core regions, but not necessarily. And if it, one of the best ways to discover them as you're flying through is just by keeping your gal map on realistic mode, because black holes show up really obviously in the gal map, and you'll start to see clusters of them. Once you see that, you'll know right away you're on the track for a stellar graveyard. You can go and find red giants all over the place. You can find black holes. You can find neutron stars. Anything else you want to add about graveyards, either Arcanic or DKO?
I'm drawing a like a
Oh,
little
sweet.
diagram
Yeah.
right here.
pretty much.
Um,
You go like,
yeah.
well, I don't have the galaxy map itself, but if you go anywhere for like Odin's Empyrean Straits, that area, and you go
Actually, hold on.
1,000 up or 1,000 down, it's almost impossible not to notice it, like in the gal map. You can even go as high as like near 2,000, because it's so dense there. But it's literally spread out all like in a big circle around that whole area where you'll see a lot of F mass black holes. And you might not see it visually where you're at like right now, but as you're flying, yeah, just peep at the gal map every jump, and then you'll see some areas where there's like 20 on your screen right when you open it up. So
I have a little other thing that I made kind of that can probably illustrate it better than what I'm doing right now. Hold on a sec. If I can just do that. No. All right. So I drew this like a few days ago. So as DK was saying, yeah, like out here, you can only go up around like 1,500 light years, but this is still the stellar graveyard above 1,000 light years. But you go to the core, like you can go to like up to 3,000. I think it's 3,700, and you'll still see all the hallmarks of the stellar graveyard. But like it's easier to see in the galaxy map. Like you can visually see like the black holes against like the kind of like orangish gold background of the core, and like red giants, as he was saying, carbon stars, super giants. It's easy to tell if you know what to look for. Also, I should probably mention, actually we did forget to mention a really important thing. um the exclusion cross.
oh yeah,
Yeah, definitely a feature
Yeah,
unique to the Elite Dangerous version
there's
of the
some
Milky Way galaxy.
there's
yeah,
some bleeding though in a few places. I noticed it's not like completely
yeah,
blocked
that's what
out.
I do.
So but for
So
the
I'm just
yeah,
gonna do a little rough thing right here. So this is like the bubble and all the catalog stars and like human occupied space, whatever. And this is the Milky Way. This little blob here. You can imagine like all the spiral arms, whatever. So what the devs of Elite did, which I get what they were trying to do, but some intern probably screwed up big time. Which is just really sad. So what they did is they suppressed exotic stars, and when I say exotic, I mean like really bright stars that like wolf rayet stars, Herbig stars, from spawning within the bubble, because unlike other areas of the galaxy, we know what our local star neighborhood looks like. So they tried to, how do I say it? Like try and like keep that the way it is. And so they prohibited primary like wolf rayet, supergiant, not really supergiant, but like wolf rayet, black holes, neutron stars, Herbig stars from spawning here. What they forgot to do is it has to be like a sign problem instead of
Yep.
like within, I think it's like 500 this way and 500 this way, instead of saying and this way and this way to contain it into a box, they actually it's or isn't it? Yeah, they did it the other way. So they forgot to specify a bounds going in all directions. So across the galaxy, you'll see the suppression going all the way up, all the way to the sides, and all the way down the galaxy. This is what we call the galactic suppression cross, or the exclusion cross, however you want to pronounce it.
Cross of Death.
Cross of death. Do not try to explore here if you can, because like you'll get no black holes, you'll get no Herbigs, you'll get
No
no
neutron stars.
Freyets. Yeah, exactly. No neutron stars. And that's actually very important that he says that. Because out in, I think it's Lyra's song, Achilles' Altar, it's a really sparse region of space that it's pretty helpful to use neutron stars. And people who don't have good jump ranges, they can get kind of lost because this crosses through that arm. So you're not going to have the help neutron stars and white dwarfs will give you.
Oh, you just did that. DKO beat me by a couple minutes.
Around there. And especially, yeah, exactly. Thanks to Ed Astro, you can see this from above. And yeah, there is some leaking, is there? That's interesting.
it's very very slightly though.
Yeah.
It's like barely even noticeable.
Yeah, well, what it seems to me is that it was supposed to be concentric rings of suppression. No neutron stars within X light years of Sol, maybe 50% generation within X times 2 light years of Sol, and then the rest of the galaxy as Stellar Forge willed it. However, it ended up being, you can see the two different ranges going in every direction along that axis instead of in a radius.
Yeah, it's just funny. So these little like bits here, as you can see, are probably catalog stars. Probably just secondary stars of O types. That's probably like Eagle Nebula right there. But yeah, you can see there's nothing over here, nothing over here for this 500 light year, 1,000 light year radius. Or is that actually? I don't know what exactly like this is versus what this is. I think this is 1,000 light years. I don't know. That's probably 250, 250.
All right, so how do we use all this knowledge of like the building blocks and spawn generation of the universe like to our advantage in exploring? Like, how do we use it to navigate and to find cool stuff?
The main,
What
well,
are you looking
I'll,
for? Sorry, go ahead.
I'll add my little bit
Yeah.
at the head here. The main way that you can use voxels is because they share the systems within them share properties. So say you come across a planet with a thin water atmosphere, which of course is the most sought after and valuable atmosphere for exobiology. Systems in that voxel will have a higher chance of generating those because that voxel, the systems within it share the property of having a higher probability of having that thin water atmosphere. That's just one example of many. There are voxels that have really like outlier levels of terraformables and Earth-like worlds and water worlds. There are helium-rich voxels that that have high helium content. It's if you're looking for a particular thing, there's a very good chance that if you find a voxel that feels like it's going to have more of that stuff, that it actually will.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Also to start, like if you're not sure, okay, I know all this stuff about voxels, but I want to find cool stuff. Well, you kind of have to like dumb it down to what cool thing do you want to see?
Hmm.
Because then you can target the mass code or even the region of the galaxy. Because if you're going for like ring neutrons, black holes, like those kind of things, then you're going to want to focus on, F, G, and H mass. Well, you're going to want to go like towards the core, not necessarily the edges. So the edges, you'd go lower to like around D or C mass to try and find like helium rich. So you got to kind of see like, or have an idea of what you want to look for. Then once you have that idea, you can go into the Gal map and literally just type in an area or find an area that you want to go to or a certain sector, the name, and then just start looking through um, the voxels that are there, and you can just keep going down the list to see the star types. So you'll see around the core you got like black hole, black hole, black hole, neutron star, like crazy stuff like that. Um, and if you're in that list, it's showing you that one voxel. So if you see there's a lot of those triple black hole systems, then hey, this is a good voxel to probably visit. So then that's what you do. You go to one, and then you just keep going down that list in that voxel. Then when you're done, you can pick another voxel, see if it's got the same stuff, and just go through the list without visiting it. So a lot of time spent in the galaxy map, but with the knowledge of how it's written and what it all means, you can kind of use it as like a shortcut before you decide to go somewhere. So
Gotcha. Very clear. And just for my understanding, because you know, you have systems that are part of a different sector next to each other. How much like is a system contained in one voxel, or do the groups of systems or the sectors overlap in different voxels? Like, how do I see that relationship?
Well, a
And I
big
know it's
piece of
not
the
perfect.
voxel
Yeah.
name is of a voxel is the sector name. Um, and so every voxel will be in a sector. Now, that doesn't mean that the division between sectors in space is a straight line, because it's not. They do a little bit of overlap. So you'll see kind of different, systems from different sectors woven between each other at the at the borders between them. But if you are in a voxel that's in, Hypua Grae sector, every system in that voxel will be in that sector. Uh, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't think it's visually comes out to be like a perfect cube.
No.
So you will get some bleed in, or like it's not going to be a perfect, like, match where, oh, there's a straight line here. If I go down this line in the galaxy map, on this side I have this sector, and on this one it changes. No, you'll see it's kind of just goes wherever it feels like. But it's not really too important, unless you're looking for like new sectors.
Right.
Other than that, the only other thing is, if you're like scouting a certain region, you have to be careful, because the ones on the lines, half of it'll be in, Empyrean Straits, the other half in, normal arm. So
Yes, that is something worth mentioning. Is not every system in a box will be in the same galactic region
yeah,
necessarily, which means that, for example, they may have different bios if you cross over to one side of the line and the other. There's
yep,
also some kind of codex weirdness on systems within a certain distance of a region border,
oh
where it
yeah,
like thinks it's in one region but it's in the other, or it considers it as part of both regions. Other explorers will know more about the specifics of that than me, probably Arcanic,
yeah.
because it looks
Crystal,
like he's drawing that
well,
right now.
crystal
Mhm.
structures. I'm gonna link it. I'm saving the
Yeah.
image from Media Astro.
This
Well,
is a rough
Arcanic
example right
draws
here.
here. I wanna go back to a question I think Aldebaran had earlier, and that's how do you voxel search? In the basic way that you can search without any tools is you use that system name that you found with all of the pieces of it. I'll just type it in the. We can go. I don't know. A B D0
Yeah, and also
XX. There
very
we go.
specifically asked how to navigate with voxels, because you can't filter for a particular mass voxel in the gal map.
Yes,
So
exactly. So, what I just wrote in the comments here, if you end it at in your gal map search box at that, you're going to see the list of either all of the systems in the voxel or as many systems as the search tool can handle at a time, which I think is 50. You can just use your gal map search box and increment that search like so
Yeah,
until
I have.
you type one and it doesn't show up in the box. That means you have finished the voxel and there are no more to search.
I can show this. I have the game up
Oh, that's great. That would be awesome.
if you
Yes,
want.
I'm
Do it.
Mick. I'm talking about using no third-party tools. Um, third-party tools, EDJP will be the definitive
That's
tool to
yeah.
help with
That's the
voxel
only
searches.
I'm
one.
gonna stop streaming.
That's EDJP is good to help you locate where in the box you are.
Yep.
Because it's got like a 3D cube that lights up color as it's like hovered or something like that. So if you enter in your voxel that you're in, it'll highlight the cube that you're in, so that way you can get an idea. Okay, I'm at the very far left. There's that much that way, but I thought it was the other way. So you want to get like a visual idea of where you're at. Yeah, that's probably the best tool to use is EDJP.
We're going to do a talk like this specifically about third-party tools. So for more details on that, come on back and we'll demo that because it's actually a really cool feature.
Stream. All right. I have my stream running and the Gal map up. So pretty much I'm out in the Veils on the outer edge. So a good example would be I want to go look at, you know, F mass, G mass. I want to go start exploring a lot of black holes. So I would start heading towards the core. Now this is like a gap of an area where it's less dense. So you're probably not going to see a lot of like black hole neutrons here. You probably won't start seeing them around here, and then it won't matter. But I did notice that traveling over these gaps, it gets a little boring here, and then it starts to pick back up where you see like more of a higher mass, more bodies and systems and whatnot. So anyway, we want black holes. So let's just go like to the edge around this area somewhere. Let's just go like here. Now we are 183 up. I know it's hard to see a little bit. Let's go up like 1,000. Okay, I'm already seeing black holes. There's one.
Yep, there you
There's
go.
one. There's one. There's one. Okay, so there's a lot around here. So what's the name? It's Stumio FHU. You go to this bottom icon, hit copy, click it, and then go up here, paste it. This is that voxel. So I'm on the 1438. Let's see how many there are total. Let's do 2. Okay, I don't see 2,000. Or let's do 20.
20. Yeah.
Yep,
Okay,
there you
so
go.
there's 2,000. You go all the way down. 87, it's going to show that that's the limit, but there is an 88. So what I do is when I get to 87, I just do 8, and then it'll do 8 and 9. And then for 90, you just do that. Because it won't show you automatically here. You see it cuts off at 87. It always does that. I don't know why. All right, so
Yeah,
let's
it's
try
just a
3.
limit to how many it can return at once.
Yep. All right, let's do 4.
This is a core system, so it's going to have, yeah, many
Okay,
thousands.
so there's 3. So there's 3. This is definitely 3,000. Okay, 87. Let's see. So 91. That's the last system in this voxel. So I have 3,000 that I can go through. So if we just start back at 0. You hit 1. This arrow is going to take you to the next system. Now what I'm looking at is the number, and I'm looking at this right here. You just go as fast as you want until you start seeing like some weird stuff, right? And then when you come across something weird, let's try an F mass, or G mass. Whoops. All right. So G mass, you should see a lot more black holes. But
Actually, depends on the voxel.
this
The
is
age.
this is a bad one because it's mostly O and B. I'm not looking for that in Herbig. So instead, I know these already. I will go to the next one, D. That was
Black
1 black
hole.
hole, 2 black hole. Still not seeing as many black holes as I'd like. So you go to the next one. And that's just taking me all around the box of Stumo. Because I'm plugging in all the different locations for the GMAS. There's 1, there's 2, 3. So it's about the same. So I'm not seeing what I want here. I'm only 65 up the plane. So let's go to around like 800, 1,000. Yeah, 900's good. Let's go higher. I'm not seeing. See, these are giants. These big red dots. See, M red giant. K will be a little yellow or oranger. But yeah, this is an area where a lot of giants are. So if you want to explore giants, boom, you see this, you know this is a good area to go look around in. All right, I'm not seeing. Here's more black holes. This is the same one. Go even higher. Here you go. So Lirangu. This is probably the sector above it. I'm going to try these G masses. There we go. Much more black holes. All right, there's a good one. Oh, is it not here? There you go. All right, so black hole, neutron star. I like that, so I'm gonna bookmark it, right? So now I can go through all the GMAS around here. I know this is a good area for black hole hunting. And if you want to just visually look at them, it's not so abundant here. There's areas where you'll just see like your whole screen is covered in black holes. Here, now you're getting a lot more over here.
There we go. Yeah, they show up so obviously in
Yeah,
realistic mode. I
it's
I
just
I
going slow
hardly
up and
use star filter mode anymore. Realistic is just so good to
down.
find things that just at a glance that you want to see, whether you're
Yep,
looking for neutrons or black holes or supergiants. They just show out. They show up so easily.
yep. So
Especially because like you can see further with realistic versus
Oh
like
yeah,
star class view.
so much.
I also want to point out, sorry, Nikio,
yeah, you're good.
higher mass or brighter stars are visible beyond what certain cube the galaxy map is running right now. So like you see, like if you see the when you zoomed in a lot, you see the um, stars show up closer to the cursor. But then like if you move the camera around, maybe you'll see stars far off in the distance. Those are just higher
Oh,
mass stars.
I know what you mean.
If you can kind, yeah, you can kind of
So if you go to
see it.
like this happened in Norma. I can't miss it. It's all the bookmarks. All right, so you'll see now I'm in Norma at the same height. I didn't change the plane. There's barely anything out here because I went further away from the core, but that's how it is. It's kind of like slanted downward. So, all right, so here, let's try to get it like in view. That's probably the best view. Okay, let's go down. All right, so as I go this way, you see this one way over here? That little dot, it doesn't go away. Still there, still there. Well, what is it? Oh, it's an H mass Wolf-Rayet with an O, with a Herbie, with another O. So yeah, that's a really bright system. So as you go closer, there's another one. That's an H mass Wolf-Rayet. So you'll notice that the stars mostly disappear as you're going through. Like this, they appear and then they disappear. Well, how come there's some appearing way before others, way off in the distance? Well, those are more than likely those bright stars. Now it could go as far as mass and I think brightness too. I think the amount of stars that are like here, but is that what you're talking about, Arcanic?
Yes, that's exactly what I was talking about.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Gal map's probably your best friend when you're exploring. There's one right there. See, boom, a G mass O star. So why aren't all the G mass O stars doing that? Hmm. Yo, go visit it, find out. Scout, explore. But that's pretty much how you use the information of like Boxels when you're planning to like go to a certain voxel to explore it and fully, and you're not going to come across like the great box that you pick out like I just did. I can go through about 20 or 30 of those G masses that I find interesting and not be satisfied or not find anything like amazing. So then it's just a matter of, okay, I did 20 or 30, I kind of get an idea. Let me try the one next to it. Let me try a different mass, and just keep going that way. But the end of the day, it's completely up to you and what you want to see. So that's why I say, like, what do you want to look for? What do you want to find? And then you can go by mass codes now and then just search like this a little bit. You might use other systems for examples. What stars and body types were in this system that has that really cool um, NSP or that really cool bio, or a certain color. And then you can try and look for the same star formations, which these things are star types right here. So there's some bios that aren't found in the codex right now that I think they have like one or two found in like two regions. So they're using that as an example. But both of them have a certain white dwarf. They gotta have an L star, and I think they have to have like a gas giant with water-based life or something. Like those two regions that they were found in, those specifics match. So they're saying, okay, if you want to find this bio in this color, these have to be in the system. Now, I don't know how true that rings out. Like, can you find one without the L star? And then that kind of like dumbs it down. Okay, only these 2 stars are now needed. I don't know how that works because we have to find them in all the other regions, so we have more data. But ultimately, you can kind of go off of that as kind of like a guide, and just go through the Gal map the same way in a voxel and just bookmarking those, saying, okay, I want to find this bio, this color. Let me try to find all white dwarf with an L star, and boom. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it for voxels. And then EDJP will kind of quick route it. So if you find a voxel, say I want to do this one, and I want to start at 0. So with this selected, I would just target it, see if it's in EDSM with running EDJP already, and then in EDJP, I would hit under Boxel tools. I'd go to Boxel survey, and very top is going to say survey Boxel. You can just say use current system, and then hit go, and then you'll see a start system. You can say I want to go to the beginning of the Boxel. I want to jump to a specific number because you've already done a good chunk of it. Now you're coming back to it, and you just hit save and start. And you can also check ignore the systems that I've already visited and ignore systems currently in EDSM. So if you only want to do undiscovered systems, you can do that. Then you hit save and start, and that's pretty much how you Boxel explore. And that's pretty much what I use EDJP the most for is doing that, because now it's just going to copy the next system automatically after I jump to it, and all I have to do is go up here, hit Control V, and boom, I just target it and go. So it's useful when you're like coming across like 3 systems in a row that just have the stars and the system scan complete message, and then you have to quickly target the next system and go. It's very helpful with that. I know it does much more though, but I'm not sure what anything else really does. I know the screenshot tool does work. It's just very limited as far as like to what resolution you can crop them down to. But they do have that feature as well. It might not feel like you use it a lot, but like my main use is just to see if a system's in EDSM or not.
Yep.
And that you do
It-
just by targeting
Its
it.
overlays are super
It's right here.
good. I do use the screenshot conversion because it has great naming customization, and voxel searching is kind of its signature feature.
Oh, I just want to point out, because I don't think any of you talked about it yet, but for catalog sectors, not sectors, but like with catalog nebula, they override sector names.
Yes.
So when they're in the shape, I think they're a shape of spheres, right?
Yeah, it's a radius from the central star of the nebula.
Yeah. So a designation for a system can either be like an NGC 7822 sector, blah blah blah, or I mean, because it has 2 designations, the procedure generated one and the overridden one. So if you want to find, you can just type in the procedurally generated name, and even though it's not called that, under the hood, it is still called that. So what will show up is the NGC name, even if you typed it as the procedure generated name.
Yes, and that's true for a lot of catalog stars. They will respond to different catalog names, and they're even visible somewhere in the info card on the star. I can't remember exactly where, but
Oh
there are
yeah, below
there are
it.
some stars that
Yeah,
may have like an HD catalog name as well as an HIP catalog name. And it may show up as one or the other as a return in the search box, but like if you type in the HD, you might get an HIP that shows up in your search box. It's the same star. It's just been imported under a different catalog.
exactly.
Yeah, it also works with nebulas too.
Yes.
Oh, I should also point out there is, I think, there's only one like happening of this in the game. I think it's Prey 5 YE-A H23. That's the only
Oh, that's a Blea.
scheme. Blea, okay. I
Yeah.
thought it was Prey or Blea, whatever.
Mhm.
It's the only nebula that has YE-A and is also H mass. I want to point out that that's not like, it's only because it's an overridden name, and Boxel naming schemes are different because it was overridden and it's a sphere. That's the only reason why it's YE-A and not AA-A. If you look up, I bet you if you look up, I'm pretty sure it also has a procedure generated name. It will be either, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be AA-A.
Can
But it's
you
just because it was
type it
overridden.
out in chat?
Yeah, it's
close
Blea
enough.
5 YEA H30.
H30.
Yeah, it's
Let's
almost
change
that.
that. Let's say, yeah, okay.
So if it's just labeled differently, it's not going to visually look different.
No.
Correct. I mean, it shouldn't, although it's permit locked. We can't go there, so we don't know
Oh,
what's
okay,
actually there. That
gotcha.
whole sector is permit locked.
Very cool.
I just noticed. I think I don't actually know if this is a permit lock zone or not in the Perseus arm, but someone is making art like maybe a Thargoid.
Hyponia. It's Hyponia.
Is that
It's in the
Hyponia?
Perseus
Okay.
arm. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone's making a Thargoid around it, which I think is quite clever.
Yeah, you notice
And you
we
see the
got
face at the bottom right looking up
Yeah.
to it? Yeah.
we got a lot more artists that have joined the game.
ED Astro is one of the most powerful third-party game sites I have ever seen for any video game ever. Not only because of its interactive map, which you can use to see so many things on a grand scale down to a micro scale, like where
I should
carriers are,
probably,
but
yeah.
also the amount of data that is generated from Orvidius, the guy who manages the site. You can get spreadsheets of of all of the HMAS systems in the galaxy and how many have been discovered. You can get spreadsheets of composition of bodies across the galaxy. You can see the closest system discovered to Sol discovered every day,
Ooh,
or
recently
every week
discovered
rather.
sectors.
Or oh yeah, that's right. You can see the all the discovered sectors in the last week or month or however long it's written.
No,
It
I think it's
is.
ever. Like ever.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
just actively added to.
Oh yeah. I just mean it's updated at a certain interval. It's not every day or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
It's like
Oh
every
yeah,
week.
yeah.
The coolest thing on ED Astro, since you're talking about it, is let me see if I had it up. So sector viewer is really cool because you can go back in time.
Yes, that
to
is so
see
awesome.
to see kind of like the activities. I think it's since we're February. Right now, it's going all the way back to August 31st, start of September.
Yeah, it keeps 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months. So it shows the sector, it shows the systems at the top, it shows the color index of, the bright blue would be
Can
more
you
people.
share your screen?
Yeah, hold on.
There we go. Yeah, so I'll just go back to the beginning here. From the main page, you can hit the sector viewer. You can type any sector in the game, pop it in, and it will show you what's been discovered in the sector. You can go back and see over the last several months. Dots will disappear as I go back in time. You can see with this over here where it is both on the horizontal plane of the galaxy and the vertical. So you can see this is just below the galactic plane, and it's in Izanami. It's just north of the densest core regions. You can use this to go anywhere you want. I can click over here, and we can see now we're probably, I don't know, in the Vales or something like that.
So
You can
yes,
also use. Oh, what's that?
you could also navigate with the things around
Yep.
the
Yeah.
actual
So
screen. On
say
top,
I'm here,
yeah.
but I want to see like what's above this. we can go up, and now you can see this moved up one from where it was before.
Yeah.
It'll give you basic
Yeah.
information about the sector, how many systems have been discovered, that sort of thing, and then the colors will show you how densely explored something is. So like if we go here, there's Sag right there. You can see very intensely explored right around it. But even within a few hundred light years, almost becomes completely unexplored.
Yep. You also see who's doing boxels. Like you'll notice that like the boxes right there. That would be someone scouting or exploring an entire boxel. If you want to get it as solid as possible, you'd have to do every single, you know, voxel or a lot of them.
And all the child voxels below.
Yep.
Yeah, and all the child. So you'd have to go through all the first all the H's, you know, then G, then F, and then when you get to E, you have so many. Like it's gonna take you forever. But
Yeah, these are probably DMAS voxels. They're the most commonly, aside from like H's, they're the most
H's,
commonly
yeah,
run through because they're the ones that have all the terraformables in them.
yeah, yeah. H's are pretty much all done. The only thing that's not done in HMAS are like the ones near the core that don't have a lot of black holes. I noticed, and mostly they have Wolf-Rayets, B supergiants, O
They're
stars,
bigs.
Herbigs.
Yeah, I
They do
also
have
want to
an
point out.
occasional black hole, but there's a lot of those still not in EDSM or visited at all because of their star type. So someone's probably going through that list and seeing, oh, there's no black holes in here. I'm not going to go to this one next, you know. So get some first discoveries
Yeah,
for sure.
there's a lot of Wolfrayets still out there. People say they're all
Tons.
discovered. No, there's
No,
a
there's
there.
tons.
I also want to mention something else that isn't really, it's kind of related, but I think it was just Jillian who reminded me to say it. So when you are like exploring like out in the rim or up in the galactic attic or basement, however you pronounce it, or I mean say, there'll be some sectors. So when you type it into the search bar, won't return anything. That doesn't mean they don't exist. It just means that they don't have enough systems to like just display it. I don't know why that is. It just doesn't. So you just need to type in the exact system name and then it will show up. Otherwise, you won't be able to query it.
Yeah, it depends on where you have. It depends on what you have selected too. Sometimes if you select a system near where you're searching, it like I don't know how the search box works because it is really janky like that sometimes. But especially like you said in those really low density regions, if you select something else in the area first, you may have better luck getting results when you start typing in.
That is
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
know,
yeah. That's
it's
the
really
only thing.
strange.
That's the only thing that happens. So if you know that you want to go to like a GMAS or an FMAS in this certain sector, you type it in, but it's not giving you the whole list that it normally does. You literally have to like it's not auto filling it. You literally have to do the whole name. Then when you do the whole name, you notice it's not putting any number in after it. You know, so like say you want to go to number one, you're doing dash and nothing's popping up still. So you do -1, target it, it'll go to it. Then what I do is I just target a random star around that. And then on the sidebar, hit set target to that. Now when I go back to the search bar and like go to type it in, it should populate the lists. That usually fixes it. But other than that, I mean, yeah, like the region I'm in now with the Vales, I don't see any F masses, and I'm starting with AA-A. There's no H, G, or F. Sometimes no E, even, in, uh, considering the location that I'm at right now, in a lot of the sectors that I'm around. So as I'm looking for areas I want to visit, I'm noticing there's not a lot of these masses out here. So if I want to see those masses, I probably have to go closer to the core. So, but also if you type it in
Let's see.
incorrectly and then hit enter, it might take you to a system, but if you read the system it took you to, it's going to be a similar name, but it's not the same name that you did. So you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
how
Oh,
did
I've
how
read
did I
why that's
get
a thing.
how did I get a BA-A HMAS? Like, why did it take me to one?" Well, it didn't. It took you all the way across the galaxy to like a similar name, and it's an AA-A. you just thought it took you to that system because it looked like it worked in game and shot you over there, but
You know why it does that,
that's not the
Arcanic?
case.
Yes, I remember it was either a live stream or somebody in a forum said it. So the way the galaxy map knows where a system is based off of the name you put into it. But there are two different names. There's um a single word or single sector name for a system and a double sector name for a system. And they overlap. I think they overlap. But if you type in an incorrect or just wrong system name, even it will still use the algorithms in the incorrect sector name you gave it to bring you to a system.
Huh.
There's
That is
some
some
weird shit
janky
behind it.
backroom going. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I thought that was like so cool when I first heard about it, but like, yeah, it's an actual thing. It'll just break the algorithm and send you to a random freaking place.
I'll show you one more thing about the ED Astro interactive map that is pretty neat. And some people will already know about this, but not everyone will, I think. And it ties back to galactic composition. Across the galaxy, there are always the same number of sectors, both above and below the galactic plane. So each sector stack is going to be an even number. We can look at the galactic core here and see there are 3 above and 3 below. Boom, 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 boom. Particularly in the less explored areas of the galaxy, you're going to see areas with odd numbers of sectors. That means that according to the data that has been given to EDSM and ED Astro, no one has gone to this sector since the beginning of the game and actually reported it to one of those services. So that means if you go to this sector stack with Blue Foya and Bliape and Croati, go in there in the Gal map and navigate down, you're going to find a sector down there that is not on this map. You can go there and visit a system and report it to EDSM and ED Astro, and in a few days to a week, it's going to show up on this map. Now, you don't get credit for it.
I think it's every
It's not going
Saturday
to.
it updates.
Is it? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. There's nowhere that your name gets attached to it, but you could have the personal satisfaction of knowing that you added a sector to the ED Astro map that wasn't there before.
Yeah, it's not.
Actually, on this spreadsheet, it shows your name. I'm pretty sure it shows your name.
I
No,
don't know that it
No,
does.
it doesn't.
it doesn't.
'Cause
No,
there was
it's the date. It's the date discovered, and then
Mhm.
okay, yeah, never mind, never mind.
yeah, there was one time I did like 8 in like 2 days, so I have all 8 in the list, like on top of each other, and yeah, I've never seen a name or anything. But
Yeah, cool.
there's
I
not
did these
always gonna
4.
be so the ones with 2 that you're seeing. How is there 4 and then 2 and then back to 4? Well,
Yep, right like this.
remember that blue area in the Gal map that I said was the gap? That's more than likely what that area is. So that doesn't mean there's going to be 4 guaranteed there. There's a possibility that they could be there. It's not always going to be there.
Yes, but it could very well be an arm gap like this right here. We can
Yeah,
see
you'll
this
kind
is
of
a
know.
less dense area between regions of more dense
Yep,
arms. But we
there
can
you
see
go.
here, like, boom, there's one at the bottom there. 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 So there's one at the top there. Lots and lots of sectors still yet to be discovered by, even after 10 years.
Yep. And
Oh,
what's cool about those sectors is that there might be an HMAP. I was doing normal
Yep.
expanse. I actually came across that. I was looking. I was already way up the plane, and I was like, "Oh, this only goes too high or whatever. Let me see if there's a third one." Sure enough, I found it, and then I saw if there's or I typed in if there's a HMAS, and there was, and it was just a black hole, and it was actually a pretty cool system. But it was really hard to get to, and I was worried that taking the neutron in, I wouldn't be able to get out. But it was able to auto plot it in the game. I didn't have to like manually. But when you're doing that kind of exploring, you're definitely gonna want the jumponium mats and
Oh yeah.
very long range ship, if not your actual fleet carrier. Um,
And right
but
on low
yeah,
fuel.
it's something different when exploring. Just really like Julian said, your name's not attached to it, but you have the gratification like, oh yeah, there used to be 2 there, but now it's 3. I mean, if that's something that you're into, you could always make a post on the forum, and share it, and stuff like that, and then people will see it and be like, oh, cool. But you'll notice like some of these sectors, if you do find one, there's probably only 10 or 20 systems total, and they're mostly B and A masses or, stuff like that. But
In those edge sectors, lots of DMAS.
yeah,
Yeah. I think it's Julian who's streaming.
Yeah.
Can you go down the web page to the bottom where you see it from the plane? Well, like the interactive map.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Ta-da.
I guess you can kind of see it from here. So I just want to point out that when you see like sectors near the core that have like 5 and 4 on one, like on both sides, there just might not be a 5th sector in the bottom just because how the galaxy is kind of like skewed for the plane, because the plane isn't where the galaxy like y0 is. The plane is y negative 40 because that's where Sol is. The coordinates based off of Sol, which is 000. So just because the galaxy is just shifted that way, there might not be a sector um near like the top or bottom if it's like separated 4 sectors to 5 sectors in a like a little box, because it's just not how the galaxy is shaped. So I don't know how this is a thing, but this sector will keep on going. It feels like it will go beyond like 1,02080. It's so
Huh.
weird. Yeah. I think you can like if you go to the left a little bit, you can kind of see like how it's offset left a little bit more.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so this is a really good place to see it right here. You can see there's so much more down below.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually perfect. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can kind of see what's going on right there.
I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it is a video game. So they do have to
I
put
mean, like,
some walls
why
in
are we even here?
because
It's just a video
like
game.
people would think, oh, these 2 star systems in the bubble are less than a light year distance. That means that if I jump to one, I can go in super cruise and should be able to hit the other one. Yeah,
If only.
technically yes,
Imagine
but the game isn't programmed like that. So when you do reach the destination, that system's not going to generate because you need to frameshift
hyperspace
drive
is
jump
loading
to it.
screen.
That's the process that because it's a video. But then you're like, but technically I should be. Yes, technically you should, but it is a video game. So there are some limits to that. But I mean, it really doesn't matter when it comes to exploring. It might upset you if you're doing like bubble exploring, like realistic, and trying to visit stuff that's real in real life, and it doesn't look accurate or falls to your expectation, whatever. Then maybe, but other than that, it doesn't matter. Oh, Julian, show him the live
Oh sure.
Yes,
thing.
That's a fun one. So
Yeah,
I
it's
this
love
is
kind of
that
the
one.
hidden.
this is the real-time map. This is everyone who's reporting data to EDSM or to EDDN right now. And so we can put the region lines on here. We can zoom in a little bit. We can see here's everyone around the bubble or nearby. You can see nice little trails of people doing neutron travel. Here's somebody probably going up to Beagle Point here. Boom, boom, boom. And then you
This
can
is every
see
half. I think it's
it's
half
every.
hour, 30 minutes.
No, it's more than that. It keeps the last
Hourly
30,
events,
but it
right?
updates more than that. It's like it updates every 30 seconds or something.
But it goes as
It
far
says in
back
the bottom
as
left,
what
30-minute
happened 30
activity.
minutes ago
Yeah.
in game,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it's everything that's happened in the last half hour.
Yeah.
We can
But
see some people
the
down here.
pixel
and
size
there's
will just
something.
make it more clear, but if you take that all the way to the bottom, it'll show you exactly like so it'll be
Yeah.
really small, it's hard to see. But if you see like a lot of more smaller dots, that means that someone did a lot of jumps. And technically that's where you'll see like a line, just like a random line. But you can also break it down if you hit body stats, Julian.
Oh yeah, where's there we go. Okay. Yeah, you can
This
see
is
what people are actually scanning.
this is what has been scanned or in game in the last half hour so far. So you can see how many Earth likes were found, how many water worlds, black holes,
Helium-Rich.
certain wolf rayettes, so you can kind of get an idea and say, oh, um, this explorer is doing, this kind of voxel or like this mass, but where in the galaxy are there? Who is it? So you'll see it also splits it to total players and explorers that are more than I think 5,000 from the bubble.
500.
500. Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
So I mean,
The bar is low.
it's a big difference though. But you do notice like that there's still a lot of people that play this game just to explore, and you can kind of get an idea of where they're at visually doing their thing with this tool. It's really cool.
I thank
Yeah, and
thank you three. I just wanted to take a moment and thank you all for thank the audience for coming, but also thank you guys for speaking. So thank you so much for that.
all right, well, I'm going to
Right.
get out of here then,
Yep.
since I think we've exhausted. Oh, wait, no! Oh no! There's a question from Savage. Did you explain how to use plasma slugs? Oh, no, we didn't. That, I mean, sure,
Oh, yeah.
sure.
Go ahead.
Why not? This is a good time for that. Because we were talking about exploring edge sectors earlier. One thing that you can put on your ship in order to increase your effective range, because your ship's range is dependent on its mass, and part of the mass of your ship is fuel. Therefore, if your fuel tanks are low, you're going to have more range on your ship. One way that you can remove fuel from your tanks without jumping is to use railguns with the experimental effect plasma slugs, which switches the railguns from using ammo to using fuel from your fuel tanks. Now, Imperial hammers work better for this because they fire 3 times, so you can deplete your tank a lot faster, but you can use either one, just regular old railguns or Imperial hammers. You equip 1 or 2 of those. They don't weigh very much, and you can put lightweight engineering on them, so they weigh even less. You can deplete your ship's fuel tank, and then possibly get to some stars that you wouldn't be able to get to on a full tank of gas. So with these kind of edge runner builds that are built to get as far as possible, that's just one more tool you can use to increase your range if you really need it, and you don't want to bring your fleet carrier around to get you there.
Okay, how fast is it draining your fuel? Like in
With
minutes?
Imperial hammers, especially if you're using a smaller ship like a Diamondback, it's not, it doesn't take forever, but it isn't going to happen immediately either. It
So
might be a few minutes of
so
firing off to get you down to an
so
acceptable level.
I'm wondering if it's just quicker to just full throttle super cruise, right? And leave your game for running for, however many minutes.
I don't
If that's
I
if
don't
that's
think
the same
so.
amount of time.
I think the Imperial hammers will work a lot faster than that.
And if okay, my only problem with that is like, okay, say you're at like the last dot, right, for your fuel bar at the bottom. And you see that your jump range is now, 5 or 6 more than what it normally is.
See you, JP.
Now you want to synthesize for 100%, jumponium.
Mm-hmm.
But because you're already running so low, synthesizing it and being able to make that jump, is it going to be even possible?
Yes, because I don't think that I don't think using jumponium ends up using extra fuel. It's like a
Okay.
neutron jump because it uses the same amount of fuel, just gets you twice as far.
So then you're just shooting out fuel and then checking to see if you can now jump or if you have the range, and
Yeah.
then or constantly looking at your panel the whole time.
Well, I mean, constantly maybe not, but
Okay.
the more that you do it, the better idea you'll have of kind of where you're going to be where you're going to be light enough. But Savage, he mentioned in the comments, it's best when you're doing edge work to run your fuel as close to empty as you can. You have to be really, really cognizant of your fuel levels because you don't want to jump into like a neutron system with no scoopables and then suddenly be stranded. But the less fuel you keep in your tank, just as a default, the higher range you're going to have just from jump to jump.
Oh yeah, I noticed that when I'm doing the neutron plotter in Spanch,
Mm-hmm.
because it'll say, "Oh, you don't have enough fuel." I'm like, "What do you mean?" It's like I
Clearly,
definitely
I
do.
do.
Well, I guess I forgot to fill up my tank all the way at the last fuel star. Yeah, but yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that that weapon could do that.
Cool.
I think that's a wrap, folks.
Yep, that's a wrap.